Alright, Cheesy. Today's the day. I think I've finally got the perfect ideas for our next film.
I can smell it in the air. But that might just be my horrible stinky farts.
Okay, so Shrek 5 The Contract was our most successful film. It got 10,000 views. So what if we did Shrek 6 The Cod Tract? It's the entirety of Shrek 5 The Contract, except every character is a cod.
Soggy, you stole my idea. I already came up with the characters being cods in Shrek 6 The Cod Tract.
Oh, sorry. A dementia movie. Jack Black plays a man who has dementia, and he can't remember anything he just did. Jack Black plays a man who has dementia, and he can't remember anything he just did. This makes for a comedic film that fits your silly writing styles perfectly.
Didn't you already pitch that last week?
Oh yeah. Sorry. That brings me to my next film. A dementia movie. Jack Black plays...
You seriously should get your head checked. You've pitched that for the 7th time.
Oh, sorry. So this last idea is one that works so well, it taps into our inner subconscious. What do humans instinctively love most? Cats? Puppies? Shrek? Wrong! It's sex. Starring James Marsden, Sex the movie will be an instant hit in the box office, because what do we all love more than being horny?
Hey, we already made that movie.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, the sequel's coming out in June.
Well, that brings me to my next film. A dementia movie. Jack Black plays a man...
Soggy, this isn't any different. You're just stealing ideas.
Oh. So, I guess we're never going to come up with a good idea.
I have an idea. What if you just made a video about all your failed fan films while you let me come up with an actually good idea?
Wow, that's actually a great idea. Let's collab, Soggy.
Now that they're gone.
So after our hit fan-made film Shrek 5 The Contract, there were a lot of attempts to make another fan film, and all of those attempts failed. The first one we tried to write after Shrek 5 The Contract was, of course, Puss in Boots 3. Yes, this is my yearly mention of Puss in Boots 3 is still possible, but probably won't happen. All jokes aside, this was doomed to fail, especially with the way that we did it. Me and CheeseyStuff just jumped straight into writing it with a very vague idea, thinking it'd be as easy and inevitable as Shrek 5.
Writing began in August 2024, and the film essentially went that Puss and Kitty get married, with the priest being a crocodile. A clever reference to the 1990 Shrek book. Cut to 4 months later, and Puss, Kitty, and Burrito are going to Shrek Swamp to have a barbecue with all of their friends. But Kitty starts acting a bit strange. Puss is a bit suspicious, trying to spy in on Kitty's conversation with Fiona to try and see if he can catch anything. And while Puss is doing this, Shrek desperately has something to tell Puss. Neither Fiona or Kitty will tell Puss what's happening, and Puss and Shrek decide to talk together after they eat. At the barbecue, we catch up with some of the characters like Gingy and Pinocchio. And it's now, as Kitty asks to go to the bathroom, that we begin to realize she's been doing that a lot. While trying to investigate the outhouse, Puss is intruded on by Shrek, who tells him he needs to help him steal something embarrassing from a badger. However, they're interrupted from going any further by the appearance of Donkey and Burrito. That night, Puss and Kitty both know that they're hiding someone from each other. Kitty isn't into whatever Puss is going to do with Shrek, but Puss gets Kitty to admit something. She's pregnant. Puss also is hesitant about this, and because Kitty can't help with whatever heist he and Shrek are going to do. Burrito overhears it from the other room and gets excited. It's brought up how they're older cats, but it's unlikely that'll be a problem. Puss is briefly concerned that they'll end up like him due to the whole Santa Coloma thing. But we got to the next day, where Kitty announces to everyone at Shrek Swamp that she's pregnant, getting everyone excited. Then, Puss and Shrek go off and talk about quote-unquote dad stuff, after Shrek really does console Puss on being a father. They go off on a journey to start the heist thing. They venture off to another town and meet a fox at a lemonade stand. And that is about where we stopped writing.
Now, why did this fail? There were elements of this that actually started well, and I think what was going to be the tension of interest between Puss wanting to do the heist anyway, while Kitty wants to settle down was decent. The idea for the rest of the film was that they didn't know the danger they were going into, and they end up having to be saved by Kitty and the gang, going on an adventure anyway, and of course they have kittens and stuff. And it isn't an absolutely terrible idea, but there were some immediate issues. If you couldn't already tell, the embarrassing thing that Shrek needed help finding was Shrek dysfunction pills. which we ended up making a separate short film of. The idea was that we were going to make use of the Badger, but outside of some magical journey and the whole having kids thing, the concept was too weak to be strong, which is proven by the fact that the transition from Puss and Shrek starting their journey to them already stumbling upon a town was too quick, but we couldn't figure out a good way to add stuff to make the pacing not awkward, because there was little substance to go off of. Again, there were elements that were actually okay, even if some dialogue and ideas were a bit clunky and awkward, but this concept in particular just wasn't going to work. And to be honest, I'm not even entirely sure there needs to be a Puss in Boots 3. Other than Puss and Kitty having kids or whatever, there's not really much more to go off of there. Puss in Boots 2 was the perfect send-off of character development for Puss, and then our Shrek 5 took place directly after that, so all the story felt pretty much done. To be honest, even if Shrek 6 would have more substance to go off of than a Puss in Boots 3, and where there isn't enough inevitability or substance, there isn't a good film. So Puss in Boots 3 didn't even last a month.
In September 2024, with the failure of Puss in Boots 3, we decided to venture away from Shrek-related ideas. Thus, our second attempt at a fan film being B-Movie 2. The idea didn't even last a day. This one was probably our most memey idea, because there obviously wasn't any serious way to make a B-Movie 2.
In fact, the film immediately starts with Barry and Vanessa aggressively making out. They decide that humans and bees can't have kids, so the next day, they're working at the flower shop again, only for us to learn that they're going bankrupt again because they scared off all the clients by ruining the earth a few days before.
So Vanessa, of course, gets a job at the local pizza place. Later that day, Barry, at the apartment, suddenly has a bigger belly with a pain in his stomach. Vanessa comes home and they both tell each other that they think they're pregnant. Then, Barry kneels over in pain and gives birth to yellow Freddy Fazbear. And then Paul is there.
I love Latinas.
At the Hive, Adam now has a spider girlfriend, Lydia, a clever reference to You Like Jazz, a B musical. Barry, to Adam's shock, tells Adam that he's a poppin' now, and shows him yellow Freddy Fazbear. Meanwhile, at the Pizzaplex, Vanessa is now working there, and Ken walks in, frustrated at the bee living his life. Vanessa tries to hide yellow Freddy Fazbear from him, and Ken, of course, orders yogurt, in which yellow Freddy Fazbear suddenly pops up. Then Ken confesses that he too gave birth to a Freddy Fazbear after eating too much yogurt. So then we meet Pink Freddy Fazbear, and directly after, we see Vanessa's face glitch into Vanny from Five Nights at Freddy's for a split second.
And that's it. You could probably guess why this one failed. If I remember correctly, this was supposed to be a shorter film, but even then, it just couldn't stand on its own. I doubt we would have easily gotten people to help us make this anyway, and so that idea immediately died. Our next film isn't cancelled, but we began writing it pretty well, but found that we were writing ourselves in a circle, that of course being Breaking Bad 2.
Our intention was to follow Walt, Jesse, Saul, Kim, Walter Jr., Skylar, Bogdan, Hank, Mike, and a bunch of other characters 15 years later, as they all shockingly never died or had gone out of their current difficult situations. A cool idea, but without a definitive basis for the story to run off of, what we were doing kind of felt aimless.
Something we realized is that a story shouldn't have a whole bunch of parts unless they all have equal purpose to what it's telling. And while there were a ton of awesome things in it, there wasn't really any sort of point to certain things just done for the funnies. We're taking a step back from it right now, but we of course feel like with just some more thinking about it, we can make it a peak piece of cinema.
We really struck gold with Shrek 5, so we thought stepping into our next project would be easy. But we've learned that it's not. A story needs a clear and concise plot to take off, which we found easily with Shrek 5, probably due to its clear amount of potential. But finding that again on its own isn't something you can rush. We're gonna keep trying with Breaking Bad 2, but whatever we do next, whether it be Breaking Bad 2, Puss in Boots 3, something original, or heck, even Shrek 6, we're gonna take that into account and take our time to iron out the details. As without it, we were just chasing our tails, trying to find that spark that we had with Shrek. Alright, Soggy, I'm done. Let's pop open some Shrek soda and head back to James Marsden.
I'd like to introduce you guys to your next feature film, Hop 2 Jelly Bean Chaos.
Holy biscuits! That's an incredible idea! Bunnies pooping out jelly beans are hilarious! What do you think, Soggy? Soggy? Soggy!
Oh, fuck!
No, not again! You would have loved Hop 2 Jelly Bean Chaos!
What's going on? Why are you crying?
Soggy died again.
What? How?
I don't know. But he'll never get to see more Easter bunnies pooping out jelly beans now.
Did my words not come out right? Though I tried not to hurt you. Though I tried. But I guess that's why they say every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah, it does.